What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to $500,000 EIDL caps and 24 months of working capital. Holy, you know what? It's Wednesday. Happy hump day. March the 24th, 2021. I'm thinking you might want to give me a thumbs up on this video and hashtag EIDL with your comments below. And if you're not following me on Twitter, I think you might want to, because we've made a major breakthrough in the last couple of hours at Remote Online. And don't forget, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a little pumped up because in case you haven't seen, I dropped it on the community wall. It's all over Twitter in the last 90 minutes. Jacky Rosen, along with the others I'm about to mention in a second, have inspired Miss Isabel Guzman, current head of the SBA, not only to knock the ball over the fence, but she just knocked it out of the park. You now have loan caps on the EIDL program going from $150,000 to $500,000, and not just 6 months more of working capital. How about 24 months of working capital? Meaning, if you got a loan of $50,000, how'd you like a total of $200,000 by way of email, sign and drive? You got $10,000. How would you like a total of $40,000? And for some of you larger small businesses, if you got capped at $150,000, how would you like another $500,000? And I'm going to read this email to you if you haven't seen it already. It sounds to me like it's going to be no problem whatsoever. In fact, if you're stuck in reconsideration right now, like many of you are, how about getting 24 months of working capital? Throw the reconsideration process overboard. It's just going to be an email that you have to sign and drive. So pull up a chair. If you're not woke right now. Woke. Don't get me started on the woke. Ice cold beer would be nice about right now. Maybe even mix it with some tequila. Cup of coffee. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, my goodness. I've been doing this now for a year. I'm a bit overwhelmed with emotion right now because it floored me. What Isabel Guzman has just done, and I'm not sure the Debbie Downers on the community wall an hour ago, 3/4 of the comments were just, it's just unbelievable. You don't even realize what's taking place here. We have 63,000 subscribers, most of which disappeared. You know why? They kept saying to me in the summer, Jason, I admire your tenacity. You're trying to get the balance of 10 grand, but I need 200,000. I need $1 million. I'm a small business. I'm a law firm. I'm a restaurant. They disappeared. Many of them probably went out of business, but here comes Isabel Guzman, and she says, I'm not just going to give you guys and gals another 6 months of working capital. Thank you, Karen Mills. I'm going to go to, I can't even get it out of my mouth, 24 months. Folks, we're talking about 4 times the size of what you thought you were going to get stuck with. 24 months of working capital. The formula is probably still the same. In fact, again, I'm going to read this out loud, and it sounds like nothing else is going to be required. If you've already applied, they got your tax information, they know what your receipts are, et cetera, you got a loan, which 3.7 million of you did, they're going to send you an email on April 6th. April 6th, what is that, 2 weeks away? And say, hey, would you like a total of 24 months? And if you recall, it's a sliding scale. You decide how much more you want to take on. But for all the Debbie Downers, and I'm going to get to that with a letter that Jacky Rosen just wrote and 2 comments where I engaged with her in the last 30 minutes on Twitter. It doesn't mean that the $10,000 EIDL grants are going away. In fact, it means, in my opinion, they're more likely to happen in the next couple of weeks, if not sooner. So, look, I would ask you guys, please, find it within yourself to say something positive below. Say you're happy about this. Say you're grateful about that. Give a shout out to Jacky Rosen and Isabel Guzman. Just say something positive. I'm tired of seeing all the negativity after just absolute giving everything we have for the last 12 months. And before I read through this, LA Late, Speak and See, Rod Squad, Dan over at Allegedly, Stephen Carlson, Andrew Cartwright, Max Maher, JJ the CPA, Aubrey Janik. If I'm drawing a blank on someone, I'm getting old. I'll be 51 April 13th. Please don't forget. This is an amazing accomplishment. I mean, come on already. 24 months of working capital, up to 500,000 instead of capped at 150. Now, allow me to read some of the email, and then I'm going to talk about Jacky Rosen and the $10,000. regardless of size or location, which is coming, in my opinion, before the Memorial Day weekend, which I said pretty much all week. All right, you're going to get an email. Go to SBA Newsroom at SBA.gov if you're not signed up. Go sign up in the SBA Newsroom. You'll get these emails. It's titled SBA to Increase Lending Limit for COVID-19. I hope I'm getting some thumbs up and some positive comments because I've fucking earned it. SBA to increase lending limit for COVID-19 economic injury disaster loans. I'm only going to read some of it, but I find it to be jaw-dropping, to be honest with you. Quote from Miss Isabel Guzman, who's my current hero, that's for damn sure. More than 3.7 million small businesses employ more than 20 million people, having found financial relief through the SBA's EIDL loans, which provide low-interest emergency working capital, blah, blah, blah. However, the pandemic has lasted longer than we expected, and they need larger loans, don't we all? Many have called on the SBA. Gee, I wonder who that is. Who's been calling on the SBA? Somebody tell me that in the comments. Who's been calling on the SBA? Many have called on the SBA to remove the $150,000 cap. Gee, I wonder who that is. We are here to help our small businesses, and that is why I'm proud to more than triple, unbelievable, triple the amount of funding they can access, says Miss Isabel Guzman. Isabel, you knocked it out of the park. I mean, it went over the street into someone's pool, probably bounced out of the pool and landed in somebody's hot tub. How's that one? Businesses, this is important for all you reconsideration and the Debbie Downers out there. Don't go anywhere. I got positive news for you. Businesses that receive a loan subject to the current limits do not need to submit a request for an additional increase at this time. So you're going to get an email, as I'm going to allude to in a second, on April the 6th or thereabouts, but it says April the 6th. You don't have to request the new funding. You're going to get an email. It's going to say, great news. We've got access now to up to 24 months of working capital. I imagine it's probably going to say our records indicate that we gave you $50,000 last March the 31st. Would you like another 24 months in total? So if you got 50, a total of 200,000, another 150. If you got 20,000, like a lot of you did, how'd you like another 60 or anywhere in between? Don't forget, it's a sliding scale. So you don't have to, there's no portal, wait for the email. You don't have to request anything. It's coming April 6th. The SBA will reach out directly via email and provide more details about how businesses can request an increase closer to the April 6th implementation date. That's their goal, April 6th. Any new loan applications, and this is important, any new loan applications, and that includes reconsideration, and any loans in process, that includes reconsideration, when the new loan limits are implemented, April 6th, will automatically be considered for loans covering 24 months of injury up to a maximum of $500,000. Did you hear what I just said? I mean, if you're in reconsideration, like all you people that keep texting me and calling me and saying I've been stuck now for 3 months, you're going to get an email in and around April the 6th that says, the hell with this reconsideration process and fighting over 6 months of working capital. How'd you like 24 months? So again, the formula is gross revenue minus the cost of goods or services divided by 2. So going into the pandemic, I'm imagining this is how it's going to go. You take your gross revenue in 2019, early 2020, minus your cost of goods or services. Divide that by 2. So if it's $100,000, your cost was $10,000, 90,000 divided by 2 is $45,000, right? Well, that's probably what you got last year. But now, as of April the 6th-ish, take 45 times 4. What is that? $180,000? Look, I know some of you don't want to take on debt, but this is 3.75% money that we're still going to have an excellent shot at getting at least partially forgiven, because here's the deal. They're offering at least a couple $100 billion more in loan money. Some of you are going to go from $50,000 of loan or debt to $200,000, which means we're going to have a bigger need for loan forgiveness, which means to me, whether you want to take this money or not, we have probably 3 or 4 times greater a chance, because there's going to be more indebtedness that we're going to have to get rid of in order to stop the stifling of the recovery. I could keep going for days about why this is just massive, massive, massive. I'm trying to keep the F-bombs to a minimum, So you guys will share this, but this is a glorious day. This is an absolutely epic, glorious day. All right, not to disappoint the Debbie Downers who were all over the community wall, bitching and complaining. Yeah, what about the grant? It never ends. It never ends. Never satisfied. I could give every ounce of blood, urine from here until the cows come home, surrender my entire bank account, instead of staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning, don't go to fucking sleep at all for an entire 365 days, and we'd still have a sliver of people that are never satisfied. They're never satisfied. All right, so about 2 hours ago, about an hour before the news broke, Jacky Rosen, I've got a crush on her. I think the woman is absolutely amazing. She put out a letter and a call to action for Miss Isabel. It's pinned on my top comment at Twitter. Please, when this video is over and hopefully you say something positive in the comments, go over to Twitter, @RemoteOnline. You'll see my identification, my YouTube link. Pinned to the top is what I'm going to read partially. I need everybody to like it and share it so people are aware of what the hell's going on. Jacky Rosen says to Isabel, congratulations on your confirmation, yada, yada, yada. I look forward to working closely with you to support Nevada's small businesses as well as the rest in the United States. As we do so, I urge you, Jacky says, to lift the prior administration's caps on EIDL loans and grants, which had withheld critical relief from American small businesses during a time when they need our continued support. Amen. She goes on to say, on March 27, 2020, the CARES Act was signed into law to provide support to our nation's small businesses struggling, yada, yada, yada. Congress authorized, and who have you heard say this about 5 million times? Congress authorized the something 19, I'm not going to say the word, EIDL program designed to provide, quote, expedited access to capital and small business owners who face significant challenges maintaining payroll, retaining employees, covering daily expenses during the pandemic. Okay, let me get to the meat of it right here. All right, here we go. A few weeks after passing the CARES Act, she throws you-know-who under the bus. The SBA under the Trump administration took unprecedented action, placing caps on EIDL loan amounts at $150,000. Loans for struggling small businesses should have been $2 million. I'm reading on. The SBA also capped, stay with me, please, stay with me. The SBA also capped critical EIDL advance grants at $1,000 per employee. Advanced grants were capped at $1,000 per employee, up to $10,000, rather than providing, quote, all eligible small businesses the full $10,000. So this is not over, you Debbie Downers. Promised them in which they deserved, regardless of their size or location, I'm not going to finish reading it, but she basically calls on Isabel Guzman to get rid of the damn caps on the loans. Well, she did. She took them from 150 to 500 and then blew everybody's ass out of the water with 24 months of working capital, 4 times the initial amount that you received, which to me, I can't even get my arms around it. You have no idea for the larger small businesses or those that are comfortable taking on debt. This is way beyond the balance of 10 grand, believe me. But since Isabel came out and did what she did, Jacky came out and said, and I will read very quickly. Stay with me. What are we at? 13 minutes? All right, hurry up, Jason. I just hope for God Almighty that we're getting some positivity, because this has been it's very difficult to be positive for an entire year when a lot of people are just fucking miserable all the time. All right, Jacky comes out and says, right after Isabel came out with the news, Jacky had 2 tweets. New SBA is lifting the cap on EIDL loans to 500 grand, exclamation, big deal, huge deal. This is a crucial step I've been pushing hard for over a year. Yes, you have, Jacky, and so have we. Thank you, Isabel Guzman. Oh my goodness, do we thank Isabel Guzman for heeding our call and helping support our small businesses. Jacky said about 5 minutes after that, we still must do more to get additional funding to small businesses, including lifting the loan cap to $2 million, to the full $2 million, and lifting the cap on grants, aka $10,000, regardless of size or location, that I just read to you out loud with a newsletter. So, look, this is a game changer. I can't even hardly put it into words. It's $500,000, probably going to a $2 million, with or without Jacky's EIDL for Small Business, known as S4227, which she just said she's going to continue to push. I predict it's going to pass on or before Memorial Weekend. But when you have an Isabel Guzman who's willing to give you 24 months of working capital, way longer than the pandemic has currently gone on, which is about a year, I mean, it's staggeringly good. Staggeringly good. And she's clearly going to help by the cap at $500,000. She's trying to tell basically businesses under 50 employees, here you go. Because you're not going to need much more than another $500,000 or a total of $500,000. But there's a lot of larger small businesses that we're not going to rest. We'll give this 24 to 36 hours. We must give our gratitude. And before I go, I want to say a couple of words about that. So look, Nydia Velasquez, Maria Salazar, Hispanic, Latina, Puerto Rican, champions of small business, I thank you. John Portman, even though you're obsessed with the border, and hopefully that gets resolved, I do appreciate you, and now we're counting on you to get the EIDL for Small Business Act, along with Jacky Rosen, who's your co-sponsor, through the Senate and ultimately the House, so we can get the loans up to $2 million and $10,000 to everybody at minimum, regardless of size or location. Who else do we have? Karen Mills, who fought like a champion for the last 3 months to get you 6 months of working capital. She has to be over the moon with respect and super proud of her protege, Isabel Guzman, for the 24 months. Big Ben Cardin, my goodness, now that we're going to have a lot more loan money, aka debt out there, we're going to need you, buddy. We're going to need you, Big Ben, to get rid of the EIDL loan altogether, but we have another year, thanks to Isabel and Maria Salazar, because they've extended payments out a year. And I must say before I let you guys go, and thank you for sticking with me for almost 17 minutes, Chuck Schumer. Look, I don't always agree with this guy. I'm from New York. He's a New Yorker. I've said Mitch McConnell never responds, has no soul. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. It's tumbleweed through the desert. Mitch McConnell is Darth Vader, and there's nothing anyone's going to say to convince me otherwise. But Chuck Schumer, if you see me on Twitter, beat the snot out of him every day. But if you could see what happened behind the scenes, I told you I have some friends that are very New York. They have, along with me, been pounding this guy mercilessly. I'm talking mercilessly for the last 12 months, especially the last 2 months. And Chuck always takes it with a smile. And so does his staff. So I just want to say, for all the scorched earth emails, phone calls, and voicemails, I really appreciate everyone, especially Chuck Schumer. Because I got to tell you guys, the man can take a punch. And he always has a laugh or a joke. So Chuck, don't forget, you have your constituents, but we have a hell of a lot of Republican friends who are counting on you to get the caps up to $2 million and the loans, you guessed it, $10,000 or the balance thereof, regardless of size, credit score, or location. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm wiped out. Always remember, I love each and every single one of you. And thank you so much for watching.